Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live. And we are joined by Dr. Edward F. Group III. Doing research over the years, his name just continues to come up as the guy. And he's got so many doctorates here behind his name, I can't even go over all of it. But we'll, in the next segment, get into some of that. But it's, I don't know, it's got to be like 10 different things. Of all the things you've done, Dr. Group, what are you most proud of? And then I want to get your take on Obamacare and what you know about it. And then we'll get into some of the big health issues out there and some of the big secrets that the establishment doesn't want people to be aware of.
I would say probably the biggest accomplishment is just getting the information out to the public, letting them know what causes disease, because the medical system still treats the symptoms and they don't want to treat the cause, obviously, because they lose money if they treat the cause. The cause is all the toxins that are coming in through the air, the water, the food, the GMOs, the fluoride, all the contaminants and the poisons. And really, there's a simple solution, which is just detoxification and, you know, letting those individuals clean themselves and get healthy, eating organic foods. And I think we've come a long way in the last 10 or 15 years pushing for that. And with your help and everybody else's help, exposing all the disease-causing agents that are out there.
Well, I talk the talk. I don't walk the walk. I used to be a guy that exercised a lot, and then for a long time to stop doing it. But now in the last few years, I've gotten back into it, lost a lot of weight, got a lot healthier, even though I work a lot of hours, many days, and have a stressful job. I couldn't do it without trying to get back to being healthy. I mean, there's just no way. And we see people just collapsing everywhere. I'm seeing a lot of insanity out there. I mean, it's just, and the numbers show that society's in trouble. All the electromagnetic radiation, all the GMO, all the fluoride in the water, all the chemicals, all the additives. What do you think the establishment's thinking, Dr. Group?
I think that they're trying to control the population, really. I mean, because if you put everything together, it all leads up to that, poisoning the water supply, poisoning the air supply. I mean, the whole Obamacare situation is still not going to do anything but create more sickness and more disease throughout the world. I mean, we keep going down, 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 down instead of up, 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 up. But the good thing is people are, with the help of the internet, going online, starting to look for things because they're going back and forth to the doctor. They're on 15, 20 medications, and nobody can tell you what happens in the system when you put all those medications together, and they're having more side effects, and nobody's getting better. So people are actually starting to take responsibility for their own health now.
I think that's what's happening, and it's going to be more important than ever. I was actually watching this weekend, hours and hours at night of Codex Alimentarius debate in Germany and other places. Folks don't know, multinationals set it up, they run it. They've already done it in Europe, banning vitamins and minerals, vitamin C, down to levels that do nothing, and making a bottle of vitamin C cost 50 euros when it doesn't even have the vitamin C of an orange peel. I mean, they're doing everything they can to take over people trying to take care of themselves.
That's exactly what they're doing, and they're doing a good job of it, too, because people are dumbed down. I mean, now they're doing it from when the women are pregnant. I mean, used to be they would start doing this when kids got 15, 16, but look at the last 15 years. Look at how many kids now are being diagnosed with ADD, ADHD, autism. Look at the mineral deficiencies in pregnant women. Look at all the chemicals coming out through their breast milk right now. Look at the soy formulas that they're feeding children with the GMOs and all the...
Yeah, it's not like it's an accident. Out of thousands of types of plastic, they pick the types that are estrogen mimickers. Soy, the way they process it, knowing it's giving estrogen to the... I mean, this is a plan.
Yeah, we are in an estrogen-dominant society for men and women, and that's where iodine comes in, too, because estrogen... When you're deficient in iodine, your estrogen levels can go up because the thyroid gland regulates your hormones and keeps your estrogen levels in balance and keeps your hormones in balance.
By the way, you look like you're about a 25-year-old surfer, and you're 46.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's all due to eating healthy, eating an organic diet, and avoiding all the chemicals. I mean, even household chemicals, keeping the air clean, etc. So I try to avoid all those things as much as possible, anything that causes disease, and try to only put things in my system that are going to create health instead of disease.
Now, I want to talk more about Obamacare when we come back and then take a few calls, but then I want to get into iodine. It's funny that you're scheduled here today when I happened to be launching Survival Shield, which you actually formulated. This is the best form of nascent iodine. And you're going to help us, Dr. Group, because you're one of the top formulators in the country, come up with a whole line of products. One of them that you developed with Anthony Gucciardi that is going to be a super detox coming out very, very soon. We won't get into that too much today. But this nascent iodine, I'm told, is one of the top detoxers of fluoride as well.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact of the matter is pretty much everybody is deficient in iodine. We don't have iodine in the soil anymore. Only a fifth of the salt is iodized, and nobody can get enough iodine in their system. And we'll talk about all the different things that
Let's talk about that when we come back. Alex Jones here to warn you about some of the most important health information you may ever hear. I'm talking about radiation, radioactive fallout, radioactive particles contaminating the northern hemisphere. Conservatively, since the 1940s, the northern hemisphere of our planet has more than doubled its background radiation. In fact, that was before Fukushima exploded. Now the levels are going up and up and up. Fish are contaminated in the Pacific, and the FDA, the EPA, and others, they're not worried about it. They've been raising the levels of what they claim is safe radioactive particles. Well, I began to discuss with my wife protecting myself, her, and of course our children. Most importantly, I have 3 small children, ages 10, 9, and 5. Radiation really affects children more than adults because they have fast-growing cells. All the literature is clear on that. And I went and talked to medical doctors, scientists, nuclear physicists, nutritionists, and I said, what's the #1 thing I can do to protect my family? And they said, Alex, it's leave the northern hemisphere. Go south of the equator. That's where the radiation levels are very, very low. If you look at the wind patterns, the north hardly interacts with the south. And it's unfortunate that we've done this to our planet. So after more than 2 years of research into how to protect my family, looking at all the literature, talking to the experts, across the board they agreed iodine is key, but of the family of iodine, nascent, natural, non-GMO, non-factory iodine that comes from the earth is absolutely paramount for your thyroid and other functions in the body. The literature, the research, it's there. It's not my opinion. It is admitted that iodine is essential for the health of our bodies overall, and nascent iodine is the best form. Now, we're announcing the launch of InfoWarsLife.com, and we're going to bring you scores of products over the next few years that we're researching and developing. But nascent iodine is the first product we're coming out with because it's so important, and it's also listed as a fluoride detoxer. It does so many other things. Your body needs it, and when you don't have enough iodine, forget the radiation, your thyroid absorbs the sodium fluoride and other things. And it's the good iodine, the nascent iodine, that is able to block that and just do so many things for your body and your health. I've been taking it. It's amazing. It's a lot better than coffee, I'm here to tell you. And that's why we are now offering our own nascent iodine that's double the strength, made in the best laboratory that is FDA certified and accredited. And it is double strength at half the price of the leading competitor. You know my rule, bring you the highest quality products at the lowest prices we can, so it's a win-win-win. I believe in you reap what you sow. So not only will you get the best deal on nascent iodine at InfoWarsLife.com for your general health and also for any type of emergencies or disasters, you will also be getting a great deal and supporting the InfoWar and our news operation, promoting the cure for tyranny, the First Amendment, promoting liberty and a rediscovery of the Bill of Rights and Constitution and true Americana that's made this nation so great. So please join me in being among the first to visit InfoWarsLife.com. We've got discounts if you buy the nascent iodine in bulk. I challenge you to try to find a better deal. We have the best deal out there and the best quality. In closing, here is probably the most important point. You don't just take nascent iodine when disaster strikes, when there's some new giant disaster. The Northern Hemisphere is already double what it was 60 years ago with the radioactive background. I believe from the research I've done and the experts I've talked to, it is key to take nascent iodine to protect your thyroid from the radiological disaster that's already happened. And unfortunately, future disasters that will happen. That's why it's important to fill your thyroid up now with the healthy nascent iodine so that the sodium fluoride, the radioactive isotopes, and the rest of it can't get in. That's the key. This is something that across the board has been shown in study after study to be an absolutely essential nutrient in the body. Until a few decades ago, the government put it in the salt because they knew you needed it. But then they took that out, that's good for the thyroid, and put the sodium fluoride in that's bad for it. Talk about eugenics, talk about soft kill, talk about an invisible weapon in the water supply. This stuff is on record as a detoxifier for the fluoride they're adding to our water. Nascent iodine and InfoWars Life Survival Shield in double strength at half the cost of the leading competitors. Please visit InfoWarsLife.com today. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with Dr. Edward F. Group. I am your host, Alex Jones, and he heads up the Global Healing Center. He's got a whole bunch of things to his name: alternative medicine practitioner, certified clinical herbalist, holistic health practitioner, certified clinical nutritionist, naturopathic physician, diplomat of the Chiropractic Board of Clinical Nutrition, diplomat of the American Board of Functional Medicine, diplomat of the American Board of Nutrition. It just goes on and on. Doctor of Chiropractic from the Texas Chiropractic College, a whole bunch of other stuff, and world-renowned for formulating different herbs and minerals and so much more. Doing a lot of really, really exciting work. And what Big Pharma is doing is running around trying to block all this when they grab it, manipulate it, and then patent it, and then charge you $300 for fish oil instead of $30 or $10. This is what they're doing. And we are launching Survival Shield, nascent iodine dietary supplement. I did a lot of research on this because I talked to a lot of scientists. They said, well, to avoid the increased radiation in the Northern Hemisphere from Fukushima and all the other disasters that we've seen, Chernobyl, all the other leaks, the Northern Hemisphere has more than double the level it was just 60 years ago. And all the cancer increases. The UN says about 1 million people have died from Chernobyl alone. Fukushima is much bigger. That's ongoing. Move to the Southern Hemisphere. We've actually looked at moving my wife and children there. If a big reactor blows up in North America and is coming across Texas, we will. Because even then, nascent iodine isn't enough. But with the background radiation and stuff, all the experts I've talked to, Survival Shield, the nascent iodine is the best. That's what all the literature says. And I wanted to ask Dr. Group why that is, and then get into not just Survival Shield, nascent iodine from InfoWarsLife.com, but just in general, why hyperthyroidism in women's off the chart? Why there's so many problems with the pineal gland? Well, in the periodic table, fluoride, sodium fluoride, and iodine are right there beside each other. So they put in the water what is bad for the thyroid and take out of the salt. We used to have good government 50 years ago. They're like, put it in the salt. You need it. No. They're like, no. Take that out, put this in. What a sick joke, ladies and gentlemen. And if the government's going to force medicate us, hey, iodine, but still that's unethical. It's our job to protect ourselves. Survival Shield, the first rollout. More's coming out next month at InfoWarsLife.com, or you can call toll-free 888-253-3139. I did research and talked to Dr. Group, but also countless other medical doctors, nutritionists, scientists, saw what they're officially saying to protect your thyroid from radiation. They've got these chemicalized pills that are so cheap put out by the government that are recommended. That's better than nothing. They've got the chemical iodine. Dr. Group, and then I'll quit plugging, you helped formulate this double strength, half the price of the leading competitor, the InfoWars Life.com Survival Shield. What is different about your formulation, which I want to thank you for formulating this for us, in the FDA approved and accredited lab up in Utah? What is different from this compared to what most people are taking? And then get into the power of iodine, period.
The difference between that is if you look at different types of iodine, whether it's for radiation or exposure, or if you're just taking it for thyroid health, you're going to have potassium usually bonded to a salt, which is going to be potassium iodide or sodium iodide. Those are going to be the pills that they hand out after Chernobyl and everything else. But those have to be broken down in the body. They do work, like you said, but you also have a lot of excipients and fillers and magnesium stearate and a bunch of toxins. So why take something good if it's also bonded with a lot of toxins? What we wanted to do is we wanted to create an iodine that was in the atomic form. Now, other iodine is going to be in a diatomic form, which means it has two bonds and the body has to break one. Sometimes the body doesn't break it. So you could take a lot of iodine and only absorb maybe 10% or 20%. We wanted something that's going to go straight into the bloodstream and straight into the thyroid gland, that you could get a usable form of iodine. And the only difference when you say detoxified or nascent iodine, it just means it's in its atomic form. Another thing that we wanted to do is we wanted to put it in a vegetable glycerin base. That's a USP kosher certified vegetable glycerin base. And that product is not tested on animals. It's vegan friendly, it's gluten free, it's GMO free. You know, all the other iodine supplements out there, number one, they're not in the nascent form. Number two, they contain alcohol. Who wants to give alcohol to their child, or who wants to take heavy doses of alcohol? And that alcohol usually is from GMO corn derived.
And let's expand on that. My family's been taking this, my wife, others, folks from the office, they go, why does this almost taste good compared to other iodine that tastes horrible? That's because it's real iodine, atomic form.
It's atomic form, and it's in a vegetable glycerin base, which has a little sweet taste to it. So you don't have the strong iodine taste like you would with some of the other products.
Wow, keep going.
Well, the reason why people have such a, and this is not just for radiation, this is for everybody, women, children, all the guys out there. I mean, everybody pretty much has an iodine deficiency, and you have to ask yourself, why do we all have iodine deficiencies? Well, iodine was added to salt because they knew, the health organizations, how much of a problem it was, because they had the goiter belt, which was up around Michigan. All these people started having goiters years ago. A goiter is a cystic scar tissue lump that forms in your thyroid from not enough iodine. Well, so they put it in salt, but now they came back and said, don't eat salt because it causes heart disease. So you have a lot of people that aren't putting salt in their foods anymore, so you're not getting enough iodine from salt.
I go all over the place. Most women over 40 have that jowl. Even if they're skinny, you can see they have what African tribes and people get when they don't get iodine. I mean, it's right there. And no one will tell them. Their doctor will put them on thyroid medicine and not tell them.
Right. Well, the woman's thyroid gland is twice as large as the male's, and that's why 6 to 1 female to males have thyroid conditions, depending on where you live. So women especially need iodine, and when women are pregnant, when their hormones rise, it causes a severe iodine deficiency. So they need iodine all the time. We don't have enough iodine in the food supply anymore either, because the main source of iodine is going to be from sea vegetables or sea kelp and stuff like that. That's why the ladies in Japan, and we don't really see iodine deficiency so much in the Japanese, or if you live next to the water. But everywhere else, we see major issues with the thyroid, and not only the thyroid, but this is what the medical practitioners and the doctors and organizations aren't telling you. There's been an extreme rise in polycystic ovarian disease, PCOS, with women, fibrocystic breast disease, because iodine is stored in the breast tissue, the ovaries, the prostate glands in men. It's utilized by every single cell in the body. People just associate it with the thyroid, but it's very important.
Yeah, tell folks about all those studies. They know the increased breast cancer, the increased cancer in men in the prostate. They know it's the fluoride being in the presence of where the iodine should be. I see the studies in the news all the time, but the doctors won't tell people.
Well, the doctors, they don't know because they're not taught, because it's their job to prescribe medications and make money. But, you know, if you look at it, exactly what you're saying, why are we iodine deficient? Because iodine is a halogen, just like fluorine and bromine and iodine. And you have these bonding points on the thyroid gland. And with all the fluoride coming in from the toothpaste and the mouthwash and the water supply, and chlorine is the other halogen in there too. And you have chlorine. People swim in chlorinated pools. You have it in the water supply. You have it everywhere. all that builds up inside the system, and it blocks the receptor sites for the iodine, because if there's chlorine going by or there's fluoride going by in the bloodstream, the thyroid will take it up as if it was iodine and block the absorption of iodine. So then you have major problems. Now, what iodine does is as soon as you put it in the body, it actually helps detoxify fluoride. It helps detoxify bromine, which, by the way, iodine was put into bread, white flour, years ago when the organizations found that we were so deficient in it. But then they replaced it because it also, bromide works as a anti-insecticide agent. When they do white flour, they put bromide in there. So now, since they made that change from iodine in white flour to bromide in white flour, we've seen massive iodine deficiency, and now the doctors are prescribing all the thyroid medications, and they're not addressing the root cause of the problem by giving people iodine instead of all the thyroid medications.
So instead of even taking thyroid replacement, you should just be taking iodine.
I believe in looking at all the different studies and the doctors out there that use iodine. You see fibrocystic breast disease go away, polycystic ovarian disease go away. You see the goiters in the thyroid go away. It can take a period of time taking iodine every single day, but as a preventative measure, I think everybody should stock up on iodine, and here's why. In the case of a disaster, iodine is hard to get. I mean, we had to go through DEA approval because it's used to make methamphetamine,
yeah.
So,
but this is expensive. I mean, for those that don't know, compared to most supplements, I had to pay a lot of money, and that's why I'm selling it like half price. When the leading competitor, it's like $60 for a bottle of this, $30 at InfoWarsLife.com.
You just really can't put a price on your health and saving your family. I mean, the thing is, I recommend everybody stock up and at least have 10, 20, 30, however much you can afford at your house, because you can use it for cuts if you're in a situation where the power goes out, or if you need to purify water, you can put some drops in there. I mean, iodine has so many uses, you should just always keep it handy. In the case of a tragic radiation event, you might have to take up to a bottle in one day for radiation loading to get enough iodine in your system to block the radioactive iodine-131. So not only that, I recommend, and my children even take the iodine on a daily basis, because you're just not going to get enough of it in your daily diet.
But then I've seen people that demonize even giving your children supplements. Famously, back in 2010, there was the cover, we've shown this before, of Reader's Digest saying, the vitamin hoax, you don't need them. And on the back was the big, Prozac ad, basically, and half the magazine was drug company ads. They are really out to get vitamin C, iodine, these key things, because they're out of business if people discover this.
It's all about dumbing down the society, and one of the ways the Nazis did it, and back in the day with fluoride, the adding sodium fluoride to the water, and it dumbs you down and it causes calcification of your pineal gland. And the pineal gland is, in all the Indian philosophies and stuff, it's your third eye, and it brings your level of consciousness up. Well, they've proven now that the fluoride and a lack of iodine causes a decreased IQ and mental retardation if the mother doesn't have enough iodine or the child doesn't have enough.
That's right. Separately, a woman that drinks fluoridated water, I mean, you can pull these studies up, has a lower IQ in the child overall. But the same thing, not having iodine does it, so it's a double whammy.
Exactly. The body's supposed to have iodine. The fluoride wouldn't have an effect. So, I mean, you can trace all this stuff back and say, okay, well, why is it such a plan to take the iodine out of everything? And even with Fukushima, where you've poisoned all of the kelp and everything in the whole Pacific Ocean, because the kelp has the same receptors pretty much as we have in the thyroid that take in iodine. So the kelp is actually taking in the radiotrophic iodine, or the iodine-131, and causing genetic and DNA damage to the actual product that we take iodine from. So everybody is going to need an iodine supplement sooner or later, and better sooner than later.
Well, by the way, I mean, Mike Adams 2 years ago said you ought to carry this monofilin. It's a small company from way down, near the South Pole. It's very, very clean, and it's great. Well, I go, okay, fine, I'll carry it. I believe you. And that's how we fund our operation as well, to get the news out, is selling good products. And so I listen to you, I listen to him. Weldon started taking it, and I need to get Weldon Henson in here. He already, looked good, was already in good shape, and he's a successful country music singer all over Texas. But he's like, man, I really listen. He said about it for 4 months, his nails grew faster, his hair grew faster. He said that a little spot on his hair started coming back a little bit. It was amazing. And he lost all this weight without even, still eating the same thing, still going out and playing until 2 at night, 3 nights a week, playing at rodeos all over the state. He started going, man, you got to take this. So I started taking the monofilin. Now my wife takes it constantly. She's addicted to it. And now, about a month ago, I started taking this as we were developing it, and your brand of it blew me away. The Atomic Iodine, InfoWarsLife.com. And I'm not trying to turn this into a plug. I didn't even mean to. I wanted to get into iodine itself. There's other great nascent iodine out there, Dr. Groups. Plug your website.
Well, my website is globalhealingcenter.com, and we have just a wealth of information up there. You
got hundreds of stuff, hundreds of things you formulated. It's amazing.
Yes. I mean, and the reason why I started formulating stuff is because I had a cancer clinic years ago. I just delved right in, and I wanted to, work with cancer patients. And we started using, actually, monofilin was one of the products that we used. And iodine is extremely effective against cancer. I mean, there's doctors out there that are specializing in breast cancer right now, and they're having women with breast cancer rub and paint iodine all around their breasts, and they're getting extremely good results, even with ovarian cancer. Now, the government and the medical community is pushing for double mastectomies. They want to do a hysterectomy on women that have ovarian cysts and just take it out. You can't take organs out. I mean, every organ is there for a reason.
And to be specific, because I've been reading the studies, these genetic traits were always there to be predisposed to heart attack, predisposed to this type of cancer. Yeah, if you drink, smoke, and eat all the hamburgers. The point is that these rates are all going up, and they're saying it's genetic. When we already had the same genetics, it's that we have the deficiencies, but they won't tell people that.
No, and there's a guy named Bruce Lipton that proved that genes don't cause disease. It's the environment that causes the disease. You might be predisposed to it, like you said, but
it's the nature, it's the nurture.
It has to be activated by a lack of something or too much of something else that's bad for you. So that's the situation that we're in right now, and that's one of the reasons prostate cancer is on the rise too, is because prostate takes up iodine, and the men that are lacking iodine causes the prostate to become cystic and causes the prostate to swell and eventually leads to prostate cancer.
Let me ask you a question, because I know it's not placebo, because I just take whatever, even if it's recommended and I've seen great results and have all the studies, I start taking, beforehand, obviously, whatever I promote, knowing it was good for me, but I get energy out of this. Instead of having coffee, I'll have my Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and I'll take something like nascent iodine, and for me, it's like a drug. What's happening there, or is that placebo?
What's happening is your thyroid is an endocrine gland, and it's also associated with your adrenal glands. So when you're deficient of iodine, see, when the iodine comes in, the thyroid produces T3 and T4 hormones. T3 just means there's 3 iodines attached, and T4 means there's 4 iodine molecules attached. When the thyroid is working and functioning, it regulates your metabolism. It regulates and balances your hormone. It actually detoxifies mercury and heavy metals too. And it helps regulate your adrenal glands. So basically what's happening, and the reason you have energy, and you mentioned weight loss earlier, that we've put people on iodine, and over a period of 8 weeks, all that fat starts disappearing because the glands start working together and functioning again.
The Alex Jones channel is the official page of the Info War. But don't miss what's happening on our other channels. The Info Warrior, with the week's best videos. Prison Planet Live, where Paul Joseph Watson gives his expert analysis. And keep up with the rest of the Info Wars crew on our other pages. All of our videos are available to repost for educational purposes. See the sidebar of the Alex Jones channel for the subscription links. And remember, you can always find our videos in the highest quality by becoming a member of prisonplanet.tv.
I've got some Obamacare supporters we're going to go to when we start the next hour with Dr. Group, who's riding shotgun with us. And again, the more I learn about nutrition and the more of the mainline studies I read, It is just mind-boggling that the average doctor, medical doctor out there, when somebody comes in with a hyperthyroid problem and a woman's throat's all swole up, and 50 years ago they put iodine in the salt on record to stop that, and this doctors, because I've talked to these women, the doctors don't know, and then the women go, a lot of times the medical doctors that do these hormone clinics, and they put them on a bunch of, you know, synthetic thyroid stuff, but also iodine. And then all of a sudden they're better again. But they go through such hell before they're even told that, when it's simple. You need fresh fruits and vegetables. You need vitamin C. You need iodine. What are some of the other things people really need?
I'll tell you the biggest breakthrough that we had, and you know, we had a cancer clinic, and we saw pretty much every single degenerative disease you could imagine. I mean, we even treated some of the royal family for stuff that was highly confidential. And after all, we were trained too. I mean, even in naturopathic school, chiropractic school, you're still taught to prescribe something for the symptom. It's natural. It's not a prescription. It's not going to do any harm. But my whole philosophy was, let me figure out what the root cause of all these things are. That's what's lost. That's what we need to focus on. So after 15 years, and I had 260-something supplements in my cabinet that I would prescribe out to people. But what we did that nobody else did, and why our results were so good, is that we started cleaning the body out. And that's the key factor in cleansing. And let me tell you, you don't need you don't need bags full of all these vitamins, because most of them are toxic anyway. I mean, if you go to any drugstore, any wholesale store out there, you're just going to get a bunch of garbage.
Well, that's why I'm so honored to be working with you, is that you are known as the guy that develops the incredibly clean, you know, organic, FDA tested, certified products.
And because I couldn't find any out there, that was one of the reasons that I did that. I mean, I do have a background in biochemistry and chemistry. My dad was a chemist, and there was nobody out there that was doing high quality stuff, you know, and really taking the time to track everything from start all the way through production.
You know what's crazy is that the establishment all knows this, and if you run into them, they're all obsessed with this and are healthy. They literally don't want the public to know this. That's so evil.
I had the chief oncologist from MD Anderson in my office. They tried to set me up and brought a patient in there. And I brought him back in the back, and the first thing I asked the patient was, did these doctors tell you why you have cancer? And she just looked up at me and said, no. And I said, everybody sit down and let me explain to you why you have cancer. So doctors aren't explaining to people why they have disease, because you have to understand why you have it first to understand how to treat it. I mean, I'm not going to go rewire my
Notice the National Breast Cancer Association never asked, why is it up 3,000% in the last 20 years or 30 years? They just say, let's find the cure. Well, no, let's find out why it's increasing. Why is it increasing?
It's increasing because nobody is cleaning their body out. I mean, you take a shower and wash the outside of your body every single day, but how many people do you know that are cleaning their intestines on a weekly basis, cleaning their liver and gallbladder a couple times a year, cleaning their kidneys, cleaning their parasites out of their...
And you were promising me off air, will you, because I know you come to Austin every few weeks, will you start coming and put me on a whole program and help me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to do
Good, because I've done a few things and seen big results, but with the stress level, it's just, I want to go all the way.
Look, what we found is everything is in simplicity. I mean, everybody has a self-healing mechanism inside their body, and just nobody knows how to reactivate it. But the easiest way to reactivate your body's self-healing mechanism is to clean all the garbage.
Hello, this is Hank Hill, and I'm telling you what, you need to listen to Alex Jones.
Yeah. Infowars.com.
My judge, what is the secret of the universe?
Infowars.com.
GlobalHealingCenter.com, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Group looks like a 10-year-old boy, but he's actually 46. No, I'm joking. He looks like a 25-year-old surfing champion or something. But he's here with us, and I'm telling you, I keep talking to experts all over the country, and they keep saying, Dr. Group, Dr. Group, Dr. Group, Dr. Group, Dr. Edward F. Group III, founder of the Global Healing Center. And he's going to be with us till the bottom of the hour. I'm going to take some of your phone calls coming up in the next segment. Folks that are supporting Obamacare. And what we're hearing from him before he got here is, I'm poor, I'm on welfare, I heard my health care will be free. Then I go, but wait, you're supposed to get free health care already. People don't even know this, and that's what blows me away. But we'll talk more about that coming up. But continuing with iodine, the news you were trying to tell folks.
Yeah, they're getting disease care is what they're getting. They're not ever going to be better. But continuing with iodine is a preventative. I mean, think of all the money that we could save if people just took iodine. I mean, we would have, just think of all the money spent on fibrocystic breast disease alone. Think of all the money spent on mammograms, which severely radiate the breast tissue. Think of all the money spent on prostate conditions. I mean, cancer. It's a proven fact that an iodine deficiency increases the rate of cancer. Look at breast cancer. Look at all the walks out there. I mean, the fact of the matter is all these people give money to all these cancer organizations, and nothing is ever done. It just goes right back into the whole system. But some of the symptoms of iodine deficiency, I mean, if you're at home or wherever you are right now and you have brain fog, I mean, it's hard for you to concentrate at work. That's a symptom. If you have low energy levels, if you have pains, if you have thyroid problems, if you don't feel up to par, for women, fibrocystic breast disease, fertility even is associated, infertility. I mean, look at all the infertility clinics that are out there these days. I mean, we would just give women and men levels of iodine, and then they would be able to have nice and healthy babies.
Isn't it vitamin E, too, associated with getting pregnant?
Vitamin E, a good dose of all your vitamins, all your minerals. But eventually, I mean, one of the things that worked the best was just detoxifying them and cleaning them all out, because you have all this stuff that builds up inside your system and builds up and builds up. And that's why some people, when they start taking iodine, will have what's called a Herxheimer reaction or a detoxification reaction. And in some cases, you might feel a little bit worse initially than you feel better. But that's a good sign. That means you're detoxifying all that fluoride buildup, the mercury buildup in there, the bromine buildup in your system, and the chlorine buildup in your system. You don't want those things. All of those things have been proven as carcinogens, cancer-causing agents. And look at aluminum, for example. They're spraying aluminum everywhere in the air, through the chemtrails, aluminum cans. Well, if you put iodine and aluminum together, it causes a violent reaction. So couple that with mercury and other metals and everything, you have these reactions that are just literally destroying our brain cells, and it's dumbing down the society. So that's another reason why you need to protect the thyroid and protect your whole body and your family with iodine.
You bet. Now, we're going to go to break and come back and talk about ways to detoxify and take some phone calls. But why is nascent iodine so important?
Nascent iodine is so important because it goes directly to the thyroid. It's not bonded to a salt, which means it doesn't have to be broken down, and it's the most usable form. It's what the body uses. It's what the body is designed to use. It's an atomic form. See, iodine by itself, the element iodine, is very toxic. I mean, you can put a piece of iodine on your skin and it'll literally burn through your skin. I mean, iodine will also create a gaseous form if it's exposed to air, and you can breathe that in and it can become toxic. So we actually detoxify the iodine and put it in a nascent form, and that way it's easily taken, it goes right into your bloodstream, and it goes right into the thyroid gland.
That's right. You don't want to go to the store and buy the chemical iodine and put that on your tongue.
No, that's dangerous. I mean, you can die probably from that.
I had tried everything. I'd cut back the amount of food I was eating. I was lifting weights and jogging, but nothing was working. My body was literally starving for minerals and trace elements as well as key vitamins. And as soon as I had that, I immediately could eat half of what I was eating previously and be satisfied. Now, there are hundreds of great products at InfoWarsTeam.com, but I want to point out the 3 that have helped me lose 37 pounds in just 2 months. Products like Beyond Tangy Tangerine, Pollen Burst, and Rebound. When I started taking the Tangy Tangerine and other products every day, I lost more than 37 pounds in just 2 months. Now that's results. I want to challenge my listeners to go to InfoWarsTeam.com and to order just 3 of their products, and you will see the changes in the way you look, feel, and in your appetite almost immediately. Start your journey to health and wellness today. InfoWarsTeam.com. Well, unfortunately, it's our final segment here with Dr. Edward F. Group. We're going to interview him today to intersperse it over the nightly news the next few weeks. Just amazing info. that he's got on a host of issues, and he's really one of our top advisors here on health issues in the news. And he advised us on the development of Survival Shield, nascent atomic iodine, natural, healthy type. Compared to all the other groups out there, it is absolutely essential that you find out more at InfoWarsLife.com. We have it in double strength at half price. I could easily sell this for $60, like the competitors were selling it for $30 or $29.90 or something. And it helps also fund the news operation. But I believe in bringing you the best products. I was researching the best products for myself and my family with all the radiation and things. And it was everybody, all the experts said, why are you taking regular iodine pills? That stuff's incredibly toxic compared to nascent iodine. And then I looked it up, and sure enough, there it was in all the mainline literature. So if you want to check it out, you can buy them in groups of up to 5 and get big discounts, InfoWarsLife.com. Or if you're not online or just want to call and order 1 bottle or 5 bottles or more, the number is 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139. Now, I want to intersperse here in the conversation Obama supporters calling in who like Obamacare and who really think, hey, I'm poor, I'm going to get free health care. When, yeah, if you're on welfare, you already get free health care. Medicare, Medicaid, it's all there. This lowers the standard of care. It's written by the insurance companies to make you buy something and then not have to deliver care. It's written by the most corrupt companies on the face of the planet. And Dr. Group, before we go any further into how to detox briefly and take calls, how do you, and I know it's all on your website and give that out for folks, how do you recommend just as a beginner, people detox? Now, I started taking, as you recommend, about 6 months ago, the non-GMO organic olive leaf extract. I did get the flu-like effect of that, and it did really clean me out. But the issue is people better be ready, though, you know, to get the monkey off the back, because these chemicals, these additives, these are addictive. They know what they've done.
Well, one of the things we didn't talk about, Alex, is the fact that how good iodine is at stimulating your immune system. And with the threat of biological warfare now, and with these super viruses and all this stuff that's coming up, if your thyroid gland is in good, top working condition and you have a store of iodine in there, iodine is the best way for your body to attack viruses and bacteria and mycoplasms and everything else that are floating in the bloodstream. What happens is when the blood comes through the thyroid gland, it will secrete excess iodine into the bloodstream and kill off all of those components.
Our bodies are incredible.
It is, but if you don't have enough iodine and they spray stuff, or you're exposed to all these flus that are coming out all the time, this is one of the best antibiotics right there.
So the thyroid's almost like a little liver or something, because I mean, if you're saying it's detoxifying.
The thyroid is an endocrine gland that pretty much regulates everything. It's like kind of like the appendix in the bowel. I mean, you know, the medical science rips your appendix out if something's wrong with it. But with our research, we found that the appendix is actually the microcomputer system in the whole body. I mean, the appendix actually regulates your neurological system.
Well, just like in dinosaurs, I'm seeing all the studies where, like worms, they cut them off, and if they still have a stomach, they grow a new brain and heart. And they're saying it's similar, that the spinal cord into the... Explain to us, because Bill Gates is obsessed with this, the fact that we have little brains in our guts is what you're saying.
What I'm saying is the main processor for our whole body is located in our gut, and it's the appendix. And the Russians did research on it, and the Germans did research on it a long, long time ago. Why do you think you ask any doctor what the appendix does, and you ask, why is the appendix the only organ that medical
And they say it's not needed.
Exactly. They still don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay? But it's really the most important thing. And why wouldn't it be? Because that's the first exposure point to every single thing that comes into your body.
And so if your body's poisoned, it's going to be freaking out because we're eating GMO. The answer is cut it out.
The answer is cut it out.
It's like freaking out, going, Mayday, danger, Will Robinson. And the answer is, oh, my gosh, you know, the fire alarm's going off, deactivated.
Exactly. I mean, if you look at all the toxins that cause disease, 98, probably 99% of them enter through the intestinal lining. The appendix is located right at the juncture of the small intestine and the large intestine. So it first gets to see and feel every single thing that comes into your system and help adjust the pH levels, send signals to your neurological system. But with GMOs and all the other acid-forming foods and stuff, you're actually, with the Bt toxin from GMOs, burning holes into the intestinal lining, and these particles are going straight into the bloodstream.
Well, you know, the German universities and also one in the U.S. found the honeybees were dying because they would eat the Bt corn pollen, and that was burning holes in them.
Yes, and the butterfly population, too, as well.
Well, they're extremists, though. Let's just kill them.
So the whole point of the matter is repair the gut. So when you're talking about cleansing, I always recommend people do intestinal cleansing using an oxygen-based cleanser, because a lot of the psyllium and senna and cascara sagrada, some of these bulking agents, or even the toxic laxatives that you get from the drugstores, are going to cause more damage, and they're not actually going to bubble away all that compaction with all those toxins in there. So by using an oxygen-based cleanser, you can actually bubble away through nascent oxygen, just like nascent iodine. And actually, iodine and oxygen work hand in hand together.
Now, is oxygen FDA approved? Because oxygen is dangerous like carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. It's evil. Al Gore said so.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for when somebody gets a patent on oxygen. I mean, then they're going to start selling us oxygen in big tanks, because the oxygen concentration has gone from 28% in the air 100 years ago down to like 9 and even 6% in some cities. So, I mean, lack of iodine, lack of oxygen, that just equals disease right there.
Now, that's a conspiracy theory. You're saying we need oxygen.
We die without oxygen. That is a conspiracy theory.
Well, no, now they're saying it's a conspiracy theory that children need to be breastfed.
But listen, they know that we need oxygen, so why not spray a bunch of aluminum?
Now, that's your opinion, doctor. That's your that's your opinion that carbon dioxide is what plants breathe. We need to cut the carbon dioxide.
Well, you know, the plants emit oxygen, and they take in our carbon dioxide. It's a whole ecosystem. So as we breathe, as long as we have enough plants, is another reason why I recommend everybody put live plants around their house, because they can increase their oxygen and decrease the carbon dioxide that they're breathing out. I mean, inside of homes and inside of buildings is a major issue. Those are the most toxic places in most cases, because...
Yeah, of course, I was being sarcastic. Just going after carbon dioxide is like going after oxygen, but they're doing it. And look at these hospitals where it's on record. They've got the super bugs. They're dirty. There's no life in them. Look at the rates of doctors dying and dentists dying. I mean, it is so toxic.
Well, I ask the question still, you know, why don't hospitals have good air purification systems in them? I mean, you know, that's a whole nother thing. There should not be any type of problems within hospitals. It's very easy to rectify with air purification and even microbial spray solutions instead of using the alcohol-based solutions that they're using for cleansing. They have new probiotic cleansing solutions that they can spray on there that actually put microbes that attack any type of MRSA or any type of infectious organisms that are in the hospitals. I mean, hospitals should be the cleanest places we go. I don't even go in hospitals, because if I go in there, I'm going to walk out with a sore throat, and everybody that goes in there pretty much walks out sick.
Almost, I mean, I hardly ever get sick unless I visit family or somebody in a hospital. I immediately get sick 2 days later.
I know, and look at how many hospitals are being built all over the place. I mean, we have a sick nation, we have a sick world, and, you know, hopefully with your help and all the stuff that we're doing on a daily basis, I mean, we're just educating people, and people are waking up.
Well, you're doing a superlative job, and I just want to invite all of the TV viewers and radio listeners, and it ends up supporting the broadcast. My philosophy is I go out, I do research on how to get healthy. Because for over a decade fighting the globalists, I just didn't care and got totally unhealthy. People could see I've got a little bit healthier, lost some weight, you know, trying to exercise. And of all the things I've done, nascent iodine was just absolutely amazing. So we developed with Dr. Group a double strength, low price. Instead of giving, there's so many groups out there, folks. I did research that just sell crud at super high prices. My plan with InfoWarsLife.com, this is our first product, the nascent iodine, the atomic iodine, is to have the highest quality products. And that's why I like his philosophy with Dr. Group. I've even signed agreements for all the stuff he's going to develop for me to have a low price, which is great. I'm like, of course I'll sign an agreement to have a low price with these products you're going to help me with, because that's my plan. Our philosophy is just the same, and I hope that you'll teach myself and my listeners everything you know, Doctor.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why I'm here, to spread the word. That's the whole mission. And, you know, we want everybody to be healthy. We want everybody to be clean, because if everybody is clean and they know how easy it is to detoxify their body, they can wake themselves back up.
InfoWarsLife.com, Survival Shield, the Atomic Nascent Iodine, available right now, and there'll be more products coming up. One's being formulated and manufactured right now. We're not going to give it away yet, but this is something original, isn't it?
I tell you what you came up with.
Gucci already did.
The idea for this product that you're going to be launching is going to be incredible. And I'm excited about it.
Like when we told you, you said, why didn't I think of that?
No, I was like, no one has ever done this before, ever. And it's probably the biggest rectifying, without giving away too much information, it's probably the most important thing that people can be doing with iodine to help support the body and the detoxification.
Here's a little hint. This detoxifies fluoride on record. But the thing that we're coming out with is going to supercharge it.
That's going to supercharge it.
Wow. Give out your website again.
GlobalHealingCenter.com.
Wow. All right, Dr. Group, thank you so much, buddy.
Thank for having me on, Alex.
Thank you for driving all the way in from outside Houston to do this. Amazing.
Now you can watch Alex Jones live at Infowars.com/show.
You'll find links to all of our content there and a free 15-day trial for Prison Planet TV.
You can also browse the network, the InfoWars Nightly News,
and over 60 movies and documentaries all together in one place.
You can watch the Alex Jones radio show live as it happens.
So check it out, Infowars.com/show.